The statue of Laocoon and his sons is one of the most famous sculptures from the ancient world. Currently housed in the Vatican Museum in Rome, it is uncertain when exactly the piece was made, but it is certainly Hellenistic in style. Allegedly the work of three separate sculptors, Agasander, Athenodorus, and Polydorus, the statue depicts the story of Laocoon from Book 2 of Virgil's Aeneid. In the Aeneid, Laocoon is a priest of Poseidon. He's performing sacrifices at the temple when the Trojans begin to discuss whether or not to allow the Trojan horse into the city. Laocoon runs out of the temple, leaving the sacrifice unfinished, yells at the Trojans to consider that the horse is a trap, and then throws a spear at the horse. This, and the abandonment of the sacrifices, upsets Poseidon, who was supporting the Greeks during the war, and he sends two serpents from the sea to kill Laocoon and his two young sons. This event terrifies the Trojans, and they allow the horse into the city, leading to the sack of their city and a Greek victory in the Trojan War. I want to read some of the original Latin here, because I think it really emphasizes how the artist is able to bring the story alive.
Ec autem gemina tenedo tranquilla per alta horresco referens immensis orbibus anguis incumbent pelago pariter quad litura tendunt pectora quor interfluctus recta ubique sanguineae superat undas Parscet repontum pone legit sinuat qui mensa volumine ter. Fit sonitus spumante salo, iam quarve tenebant ardentis culos suffectis sanguinetini, sibila lambebant linguis vibrantibus or.
The scansion deviates from its normal pattern, and there's an increase in words with the letter S, mirroring what is happening in this story. The sculpture seems to encapsulate the intensity of this passage incredibly well. As for the statue, it depicts the climax of the story, Laocoon and his sons being devoured by the snakes. Laocoon is twisted, trying to pry a snake from his hip, while one of his sons has been captured by a snake, and the other son struggles to escape. This piece is a prime example of Hellenistic art. All three figures are in highly unnatural, almost grotesque body positions that break the plane between the piece and the viewer. Although all three maintain the highly idealized forms of the high classical period, the sculpture breaks from the high classical tradition since all three are displaying extreme emotions of agony and pain. The piece would have had a profound effect on its audience. The stories told in epic poetry were not fiction to the Romans. They were their history. The Romans truly believed that they were descended from Aeneas. As such, this piece is not just a retelling of a story, but a depiction of Roman history. Roman society was built on the idea of virtus, manly virtue that encompassed devotion to, in order, the gods, one's country, and one's family. Laocoon was killed because it's divinely ordained that the Greeks would win, but also because he disrespected a god. The sculpture serves as a reminder to always remain obedient to the gods as a man of virtus. The piece does not maintain the same meaning to modern viewers. We did not inherit the tradition of epic poetry as history, so the piece is a far-removed piece of fiction rather than a warning from history. The context has changed, so the way we as modern viewers view it has changed as well. I chose this piece because I've loved the story of Laocoon since I first translated it as a sophomore in high school. I was aware of the sculpture before this class, but I didn't have a lot of art historical background, so I never really paid much attention to how the sculpture was able to masterfully reflect the story being told. In many ways, the fact that the statue's Hellenistic matches his story. Hellenistic art represented a sharp break from the perfect, ideal art of the high classical period. Laocoon broke from the status quo and was punished for it. It makes sense, then, that the art style is Hellenistic. It was really cool for me to add another dimension to my knowledge of what has long been one of my favorite stories from classical antiquity.